Okay, this is how I went from this to this. Now, before I get into it, man, this instruction manual is so good. And why am I getting so hyped up about an instruction manual? Because as you see from one of my older videos about installing that cheap roof rack, terrible. So whenever I get a good set of instructions, I'm pretty excited. Yeah, satellite to this is what gets me going. Now, there's always arguments about if a standing desk is actually useful or not, and the benefits of them. For me, the reason why I got a desk that can go from sitting to standing was an old back pain. Not I'm old and have back pain, although that's all true, but an old back injury that I had. So when I sit down for too long, whether I'm gaming or doing some video editing, it really starts to bug me after a little while. So what I found was standing up and changing positions was a good thing for me. So I got this from Prime Cables, and there will be a link in the description. If I forget to put it in there, please just let me know and I'll put it there right away. Now, I got stuff from there before and I had no problems. I love their products. Now, if you've been following me, you know that I keep on saying I'm one of the cheapest people alive, and it's true in this case. I looked at some of the other desks, like the Jarvis standing desk, and the one that I wanted, or the one that suited my needs, went for about $1,000, and especially after tax, and this is in Canadian dollars, by the way. Now, Prime Cables, they have their own brands, and sometimes they're a lot cheaper, so I would decide to look at theirs. And looking at different stores, this is one of the cheaper ones out there. Canadian, it goes rounded up, is about $217, and in US that means it's about $170. So I think fantastic value. That's one of the cheaper sit-to-stand desks that I've seen. I've seen some of the tabletop ones, which I think are really ugly, go for around that or less, but I think they're kind of gruesome. Having a manual crank to me seems a lot simpler than having any electrical issues, or some more higher index desks seem to have some hydraulics in it, so I didn't want to get into any of that if I could. And hey, that cranking motion of that sit-to-stand desk, that manual crank, that's exercise too, so why not? Now, I got it with the anti-fatigue mat as well. It's pretty toxic. It's like those VOCs or whatever is coming out of it. Pretty toxic. I'd say air it out in your garage or a porch or something like that if you can for a couple days. Now, I hate unboxings. I don't like doing them. So here's my unboxed. So I'll show you how it came packaged. It came with these side carrying handles, which were excellent in order to move the box around. Did I mention it comes with a killer instruction manual? Yeah. I use the old kitchen tabletop that I used to make my computer desk. And you can see I'll put a link in the description of my old computer desk videos. It's a waste if I just throw it out. Kind of like the glass tabletop area too. It kind of provides me a little bit of a window so I can shine some LED lights in there. Now, a popular thought is to use one of those IKEA tabletops because you can get them in pretty good size. However, you just have to be very, very careful with those IKEA tabletops because a lot of them are kind of hollow cord, so kind of like a door, and if you drill through certain spots, you won't necessarily get the connection to the standing desk frame. So you got to be careful that those desks aren't necessarily the best. Now, my top is around 20 millimeters thick, or about 9/16 of an inch. And for the rest of the installation, I'll just show it to you here. Now here's me lifting it up, and again, it's actually pretty easy, and it goes quite fast. I think it says it goes like 10 millimeters per turn, so a centimeter per turn, and I find it just goes up at a pretty nice speed. Honestly, the way I use it is I usually just have it up. I rarely sit in my chair anymore, which is fantastic, and the anti-fatigue mat is, I think, essential because your feet get kind of sore if you're just on, in my case, I just have a wood floor. With the tabletop, the max height of the lift is about 49.5 inches. So now we'll go through some of the pros and cons of this table. The pros are, number one, it's cheap. First and foremost, it's one of the most inexpensive sit-to-stand desks that I've seen. Number two, it seems really strong. Like the construction is just all steel. There's no really plastic bits other than the feet on the bottom, and it's quite solid, especially when you feel that when you're installing it. It's just really solid. The mechanics seem to work nice and stiff. There's no sinking of the desk. You know, once you crank it up, it's not like sinking down. No, there's no problem with that. Now, longevity, durability, that's to be seen. You know, you just have to wait with that and see what happens with it. I basically installed this in about an hour. With all the cables and all that kind of stuff, it took a bit longer, but the actual putting of the desk, putting of the frame together and attaching it to the desk, really quite simple. And at 6 feet tall, in terms of the height, I have no problem. I don't have it at the max height, by the way, and it fits me and how I do the work perfectly fine. I did have to have my monitors on a monitor stand, so I have 2 monitors there, and so I had to put it at the max height so that it would kind of be okay with my line of sight. Now, I don't have anything to compare to, but from some videos I watched of some electric ones where you just press the button and you can set it to a preset height, I listened to them and they can be quite loud. I don't know exactly how loud compared to this, but this is pretty quiet. Like my family is just sleeping on the other side of the wall there. If I crank it up, you know, they're not hearing what I'm doing, so that's great. Especially I can vary the speed that I'm going, so I can make it even quieter. So that's kind of a positive as well. Now, one con, but I think it's a con of a lot of styles like this, is that, yeah, once it's at the top height, and I'm on a hardwood floor, so, you know, there's not much wiggle to it. It is a little jiggly, as you can see, as I'm moving the desk around. For what I'm doing, like video editing, playing video games, it doesn't bother me at all as long as I'm not like on the desk, like rocking it back and forth. So, no problem there for me. Some people might find that irritating. There are some other desk styles out there that keep it a lot more rigid. So, you know, if that really bothers you or if that's something you really want, then yeah, this is not for you. The weight capacity is about 70 kilos or 154 pounds. So again, for a computer, 2 monitors, all my little peripherals here and there, that's definitely more than enough. If you're using it as like a workbench, you got tools on top, again, you have to be wary of the weight capacity. So would I buy this again? I think it's a clear, yeah, I would buy this definitely again. If one of the kids needed or wanted a sit-to-stand desk, I would do this one again. Anyway, time for the joke of the day. This bouncy castle is twice the price it was last year. That's inflation for you. Boo. Anyway, thanks for watching, and if you like this kind of content, then just let me know. You know, my channel is a variety show of things. There's not one thing I really focus on all the time. I kind of do what I want to do. So that's the beauty of this channel, I think, for me, and it keeps things fresh in my mind instead of doing the same thing over again. And I hope to see you in the next Ladybug adventure. Don't be lazy. Go with the manual. It's fine. Like, oh, I like to know, get it at the same height. Like, give me a break. You can make some markings or something like that so you know that you're at the same height. So the presets, so just, you know, don't be lazy.